but I sell on eBay and I'm fairly new with a few months in, and I've been shipping to the lower 48. I'm thinking about branching out to Canada. Hey, I don't have quite the time I used to have, so this is my lunch break. I figured I'd squeeze a few questions in here real quick. Art Vandelay, and I watched you, by the way, on John's show, Cincinnati Picker. So, let's see, do you put all the Legos together or just sell them as you bought them here? He's referring to a video she tried to upsell me at this garage sale. It depends. So my wife has put together some really nice sets, some vintage sets that are worth quite a bit of money. She takes the time to do that. When you're selling them for hundreds of dollars, it's worth it. I haven't looked through those particular sets, but when you find like a box or maybe a bag full that has a, the little manual that goes with it, the box is gone maybe, but they have a bag and they put the manual in there. It's worth looking up how much that one would go for completed, because you have the model number and you can look it up that way. If you find just a big old tub full of them, it's impossible, right? I mean, how are you gonna ever know what the thing was to begin with? And so basically my answer, to be not terribly long-winded here, is I would put it together if you have evidence that putting it together is gonna be worth your time and effort. To me, that's an awful lot, because putting Legos together is tedious. To my wife, that might be 30 bucks because she likes to do it. So in the case of those right there, more than likely we're gonna sell them by weight. Thanks. All right, here's the question I promised William I would get to. This was in an email, and I don't get to all my emails, but I just clicked on this one and I thought, oh my goodness, there's 6 questions here and I don't have time to answer it. I promise you I'll answer it. So here it is. Not sure if you read your emails. This isn't a question about your items, but I sell on eBay and I'm fairly new with a few months in, and I've been shipping to the lower 48. I'm thinking about branching out to Canada, and I had a few questions. Question 1, do they give you trouble about shipping with any customs or anything like that? So the way I do it, no, I have had no trouble whatsoever, and I'll explain that in just a second. So the answer is no to that. I'm sure there are, and there are probably some horror stories out there. I just don't have any. I ship most of the stuff free to where I do now, unless it's a heavy, so you do mostly free shipping to the United States, is what you're saying, unless you do priority. But I'm thinking about making shipping to Canada on all my stuff and pricing that out. So would the question is, would $20 be a reasonable rate to charge to go to Canada? Okay. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to answer that question at the end as well. I sell mostly DVDs, Blu-rays, books, tools, small appliances, and a few other things. Are there any restrictions that you know of to Canada? Because I don't really want to have any issues should I start doing that. So I'm sure there are some issues as far as restrictions, but I don't think anything you just described, books, tools, small appliances, maybe some, but I don't see any issues there. So first, let me say this. 90% of eBay sellers out there at least should be doing global shipping, because you don't get a lot of sales through global shipping, but at least it's out there and it's an opportunity, and you don't have to fill out anything. You end up sending it to an airport in Kentucky. So if you're doing nothing, you should do global shipping as an option. I personally do international, I use simple export rate on pirate ship. So now eBay has their own option. I can't remember what they're called, but if you go to international shipping and hit that, it's like the first option. It's essentially eBay's competition for pirate ship is essentially what it is. And on smaller items, I don't know if it's under a pound, it's $10 to $13, or under 8 ounces, half a pound, I think, something like that. Pirate ship beats it. Pirate ship beats it, but it doesn't beat it by as much as it used to beat it. So I know a lot of people are now just clicking that eBay option because they don't have to click back and forth and it's all on one place. And that's an option as well. If you want to do pirate ship, which is what I'm going to suggest, something just sold right there. I would do, interesting, a train. I would do pirate ship, and I would do simple export rate on pirate ship. And Lonnie's done videos on garage flips shed flips forever, and he's the guru at this. And I've been doing it for quite a while myself. 6 or 8 ounces, just to give you an idea, if it's an 8-ounce item or less, you can ship it through Pirate Ship for $8.95. So I would go and pick the very last option in the international shipping section, and first class international, I think it is what it is, and I would click that, and then I would put $8.95 or $9.95, probably put $9.95, but whatever, you can put whatever you want. If it's 1 pound, it costs $10.95 to go to Canada. If it's 2 pounds, it costs $13.95. If it's 3 pounds, $16.95. 4 pounds, $23.95. I wouldn't fuss with anything over 4 pounds. I just hit global shipping on that. That's what I do. I would take the time to go to Pirate Ship and figure it out for sure. I would, matter of fact, if you just Google, what is it called? It's called simple export rate. Just put Pirate Ship simple export rate and then scroll down and you'll find it. You'll actually see what I'm looking at right now. The rest of the world, if you're going to do it to Canada, might as well do it to the rest of the world. In my opinion, it's a global market here. Rest of the world, 8 ounces or less, $10.95. 1 pound or less, $15.95. It's how I ship the mugs out from CommonwealthPicker.com. It's how I ship that stuff all out. I do it all on Pirate Ship. So I know it seems overwhelming and daunting, so just start with Google Pirate Ship simple export rate and go down and look at it. See if it's something you could do, and hopefully that answered some of your questions, and good luck. I have a question from Irene. She says, do you think after the spring and summer and your sales being as good as they were that you would consider doing this full time? I realize that you've answered this question in the past, but that was before you've experienced what being full-time actually was. I do realize there are other things involved, such as insurance, retirement, etc. So I guess you could say, being a teacher, I have been full-time every summer for the most part. This year the summer seemed to grow into the spring. So, I guess I know what it would be. I do know that the sales increasing were for 3 reasons, and it's not completely just based on the fact that I'm full-time. They increased because I had more time to invest in it. They increased because you see my face and you see me garage sailing and you see my show on Commonwealth Flipper here. And so people purchase for that reason. And I think the biggest impact was simply everybody was at home. Just everybody's sales just seemed to go up exponentially almost. Maybe not exponentially, but certainly went up. And I don't know that we can count on that forever. However, I do think that this is really going to just continue the trend of not just slow increases in online purchases, but massive increases and permanent increases. However, that being said, there will be more competition because that marketplace is so massive, and new innovations and new regulations even. So I don't know that I want to. I certainly do want to. It's what I love. I'm passionate about it. I just enjoy it. But, it's different when it is full-time. And I bet if for you full-timers out there, leave me a comment. It takes on a different meaning when it is all you do every day. I'm here at school, and I love teaching, but when I go home, I'm almost excited to be at home in the Commonwealth cabin and selling things and shipping things. But when it's all I do, it's less exciting. So, the grass isn't always greener, I guess. But the answer is yes. I think about it all the time. Of course. So, just not even having to get up in the morning and get, showered and put on. Of course, I don't have to dress up too nicely now, being online virtual learning for the next, I don't know how many weeks. But, staying at home, having a cup of coffee and eating breakfast and then going to work and then coming back a couple hours later, going to work downstairs and then coming back a couple hours later. And, playing with the kids, doing whatever. It's very, very appealing to be your own boss, if you will. So, anyway, sorry for the rambling answer. Hopefully the biggest part of it is I would have done it already if my wife had a job, say, with insurance. Although that defeats the purpose because then she's not there with us. So, insurance, retirement, all big, big factors that I think if one or both of them weren't factors, I would have already done what you just mentioned. So thanks. I have a question I want to answer from Rolling with Stones. When you make a large purchase like this one, and they were referring to the I couldn't stop buying video, I couldn't stop buying at this garage sale on the Commonwealth Picker channel, where you're negotiating the price on each individual item or on smaller groups or on a smaller group of items. What is your perspective when you eventually start to sell the items? Do you view it from the perspective of how much did you pay for that specific item? How much did you pay for the overall purchase? Or how much you spent that day, all day at sales? And what is the best perspective to have? So, well, I don't know what the best perspective to have is. I know I view it all of those ways, actually. And I do like to look at a particular sale. As you can see, when I keep track of the different sales that we've had over the year or so we've been on YouTube, you know, whether it's the Happy Little Accident sale or the exact change sale or the unexpected jackpot, or whatever it is. Those sales I like to keep track of because I like to get a gauge of how much work is involved with the money that we're making. But for tax purposes, for accounting purposes, I do it by item. And so when you make a big bulk buy, that becomes a little bit more difficult to do it. But for me, you've just got to come out to the same number if you're doing it by item for tax purposes. So that's just how I look at it. I used to think in terms of how much money am I going to make for this particular day out there at sales. And that was back in the day when I didn't buy nearly as much because I didn't know as much to buy. Now I can go out and if I really wanted to, I mean, I could fill the car up, you know, to burst almost every single time if there's enough sales. But it's a matter of, you know, can I process the stuff? So you got to pass on some things and certainly pass on the big work items, cleaning and testing and all that. So I still can't pass on ashtrays and I still can't pass on pickle keepers for Tupperware, even if there's not much money in either. Anyway, good question, and I want to know what you all think in the comments. So do you view things by the garage sale, by the item, by the day? You know, thrift store too. How do y'all look at it? So let me know in the comments. Thanks. I have a question from Carter. He says, what are your best sources of getting your items? Love your channel. So, well, if you said channel, so Commonwealth Picker will show us sourcing the items. Most of those videos are going to be garage sale videos. A few of them will be thrift store videos. There are so many other ways to source retail arbitrage, closeouts, auctions, online auctions, in-person auctions, estate sales. You can get wholesale stuff. You can tell your friends, you know, you can steal it. You can, don't steal it. There's all kinds of different ways to source. So I'm just curious out there. For me, it's about 75% garage sales, maybe 15% thrift stores, and then 10% other. 5% of that's probably retail arbitrage, and then 5% is just knowing people, friends, you know, giving you stuff, whatever. So I don't do next door app because it doesn't work here because there's nobody who lives here. There's nobody next door except for the chickens. And Facebook Marketplace is fine and works for some folks, but I live out in the middle of nowhere, so I still have to travel quite a ways to get to somebody selling stuff. But I have used it, and I'll continue to. So dumpster diving, I forgot one. Hey, let me know out there. Tell me what your sources are. Not your sources, but give me percentages. Say, all right, I'm 100% garage sales, or I'm 50% garage sales, 50% thrifting, or I'm 50% retail arbitrage. Tell me in the comments what your percentages are. Thanks.